Hello, everybody. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic, and we have some Bachelor Nation news to get to. I know we've been light on the Bachelor content recently. It's off-season. There isn't much going on, but now we have Dean's fertility journey. Do me a favor. Give me a like if you enjoy this sperm emoji that I have here, okay? I found that online. My Google is a weird thing. I'm like, sperm cartoons. Bachelor's Dean Unglert suggests using brother's sperm to impregnate fiance Caelynn Miller-Keys. We'll get into this story. You can tell me if you think it's complete hogwash or if there's some, I don't know, merit. I mean, maybe if you don't have the right sperm, you'd want to keep a similar genetic code, that being a brother. Maybe they can help you. All right, do me a favor. Help me at DNeals on Instagram. Also, patreon.com/Dave Neal. I'll be going live at the 10 a.m. hour this morning. And every afternoon, Bachelor Rush Hour, the podcast. I've got a big interview coming to you guys tomorrow on the podcast. So make sure you're subscribed and you'll be the first person to hear that interview. And also today I'll have more Bachelor news as it relates to our world. There's been a lot of little stories. Some of them aren't big enough to make a YouTube video out of, but I am including them on the podcast. Check that out, bachelorrushhour.com. Bachelor's Dean Unglert suggests using brother's sperm to impregnate fiance. Dean explains why the solution with his possible sterility that he came up with years ago feels awkward now that he's preparing to marry Caelynn Miller-Keys. Yes, this is a real article in a real quote-unquote magazine. Is People still a magazine, or is it a blog at this point? Rather than read the article, let's just go into the actual clip here. Here is from the Help I Suck at Dating, and it's always good for the podcast to get clicks. I mean, it forced me to click here. Will I actually listen to the full episode? Not for $1 million, but here's a clip.
I got my sperm test. I knew I was going to do it, so I didn't relieve myself, if you will, for like a month leading up to it, which is a long time.
A month?
It was a long time. Hey.
Does not relieving yourself for a month make the test any different? I feel like if they're going to test your sperm, they're going to test the percentage of sperm within the overall volume. Do you know what I mean? Not to be too graphic for those out there maybe eating breakfast or something, but I feel like waiting, it isn't going to help out. I don't know.
Hey, when your testosterone's this low, you can do anything. Trust me. I've always thought I'm sterile.
Well, the good news is we want to adopt if you are sterile.
Yeah, and I always thought about too, like what I could do if I was sterile. And this was even PC, pre-Caelynn. We could take like one of my brothers.
I knew you were going to say that. I was like, I don't want to say it because it's weird.
Then you guys could just like go into the room for 30 minutes and, you know.
Oh my God.
Are you out of your mind?
Are you insane?
He goes, go into the room for 30 minutes. Clearly, he's kidding here. But Jared's like, are you out of your mind? Also, Caelynn's like, honey, it ain't going to be 30 minutes if he's anything like you.
Brother,
well, that's the question that you would have to answer, I think.
Not having sex with them. If you got sperm samples from both and just mixed them together.
Just raced them against each other. I got my sperm test. I knew I was going to do it, so I didn't.
All right, so Caelynn suggests, I guess Dean has two brothers. Caelynn suggests lining his sperm up maybe on some sort of metaphorical track and having them race. Hey, I don't know. Maybe you don't want the fastest sperm. Maybe you want a sperm that's more agile. You know, I read this book called Sperm Wars, but I didn't think I'd be talking about this today. And it was actually fascinating. In the book Sperm Wars, it talked about the idea that not all of your sperm are created the same. Some of them actually have like different like barbs and stuff on their heads that are used. This is going to sound super graphic, but this is biology, folks. And maybe this is quack. I don't know. Just as I read it and I don't feel like looking it up. But they'll use the sperm as sort of like infiltrate that are there to knock off a competing person's sperm. You know, it's like a survival of the fittest. Either way, wild times. How to prepare for the test. For some people out there, you might need to be doing this. And I think we should normalize these conversations. It's a very healthy part of, I don't know if the birds and the bees. Do you need the birds and the bees talk from Dave here? When a man loves a woman, he races his sperm with. I know siblings are competitive, you know what I mean? But tracking which sibling has faster sperm, you just have like a one of those like speed guns that goes by, like the cops do, and he's like 42 miles an hour. Although I've heard that sperm actually travel at great speeds. Speed of sperm. Let's see. We need to know this. How fast can sperm travel at the point of ejac? Hit the like button. Sperm are traveling pretty fast. 28 miles per hour. That's this fast. Whew. That's fast. Once inside the lady, they can move very quickly. You know, I was raised Catholic when I can't say the V word without blushing. Within 5 minutes of ejac, sperm may have already reached the fallopian tubes. Oh, 5 minutes. That's a pretty fast time. I'll have to get the race clock. I'll get my timer out there, and we can see at around 5 minutes. Like 6 minutes later, you're like, all right, he must have taken a wrong turn. Do we have Waze? Did you print out some MapQuest here? Take a left at the fallopian tube, and then go right down. Okay. How to prepare for your test in case you need to take one. In order to have an adequate sperm count, do not have any sexual activity that causes ejac for 2 to 3 days before the test. However, this time should not be longer than 5 days, after which the quality can diminish. Oh, okay. Oh, all right. So it says don't wait more than 5 days. They always have these beautiful images. Here, how do I get to this image here? Let's see if we can find this sperm. Changing sperm speed can influence offspring sex. Mouse study suggests. Technique can sort male sperm from female. So what are they trying to say? That women's sperm aren't as good at driving down the tube? Okay, that is not a stereotype we are perpetuating here. But either way, if you want a baby girl, don't have sex too close to ovulation. So goes a common belief, which asserts that sperm with Y chromosome, those make male babies swim faster. So you have a better chance of having a daughter if the sperm has to travel a long way to the egg. Yeah, what? The idea has no scientific merit. Well, most old wives' tales, as they call them. Well, why do the wives have to be old? The tale is old. The tale is old as time. Speaking of tales, how about a tale of a sperm? The old flagellum, baby. All right, this is quickly turning into a top video of the year. Are we ovulating yet? Okay. Why? X and Y chromosomes aren't just different sizes. The X is about 3 times longer than the Y. Well, that's what he says. I mean, she'd say, well, it's only like twice as big. They also contain different genes. In the new study, scientists use these genetic differences to sort male mouse sperm from female sperm. They zeroed in on a specific gene called toll-like receptor 7/8, which is expressed only in X chromosome. Sperm encode. Okay, so they get into the science of it all, which doesn't matter. Other methods for sex selection, such as staining sperm with a dye and sorting by length of the sex chromosome, are expensive and can sometimes harm the sperm cells or their DNA. The new method appears safe and is relatively cheap, the team asserts. If confirmed in other species, the strategy could be used for breeding livestock, such as dairy cows, where female animals are preferred. Don't expect to choose the sex of your baby anytime soon with this strategy, though. Ethical concerns aside, there's no evidence the approach works in humans. All right, so they tested a few different mice. This is what happens, right? You do some tests that, scientific testing always has a bias, whether you know it or not. It's very hard to have a controlled test. I mean, here is, speaking about testicles, here, that's another test. Cool. So anyway, these are mouse sperm, apparently. They're just looking for their metaphorical cheese, if you know what I mean. The old cheese tax happening there. Either way, what are we even talking about? I went live this morning at 8 a.m. Pacific time with Up and Adam to talk about Vanderpump Rules. So if you want more content from me, I did a nice hour-long public live stream this morning, and I'm also going to be going live pretty much right after this at 10 a.m. Patreon.com/Dave Neal if you want to be a part of the private community. And we've been getting so many requests for cameos and shout-outs. Shoot me a DM on Instagram if you need a shout-out. I'm not on Cameo, but I'd be happy to shout out your birthday, your quinceañera. Maybe you just got a sperm test back and you're maybe your sperm's traveling at 29 miles per hour versus 28. I don't know. Maybe it was picking up speed. Either way, we're here for you. And this afternoon, just like every afternoon, we have Bachelor Rush Hour, the podcast. And let me tell you something. It's the off season, baby. And I argue it might be the best time to be a part of the community because we have a lot of fun things going on there. Either way, good luck to Dean and his brothers and Caelynn for whatever they decide to do. Not to mention, if you're going to borrow your brother's sperm, I don't think you have to have sex with Caelynn. Although they do say, I mean, I do think that is it proven that good sex is better for conceiving? Listen, everything I know I learned from friends, and that means it's probably all not true. The earth is flat, and so is Dean's fertility. All right, folks. I'm know if any of that's true here, but we're making light of a situation that obviously deserves, in actual conversation, a lot of love. I have to tell you that because I'm going to have 99% go, Dave, this is your best video ever. And I'm like, oh, thank you so much. And then 1% are going to be like, I've got a low sperm count. And it's like, we know, buddy, chill out. Go drink a Gatorade and fix it. I don't know. Either way, folks, we'll talk to you later. Link in the comment section to join the podcast BachelorRushHour.com.